Hi, welcome to Strictly Sports.
My name is Boyce Brown.
And I'm Spencer, and this is your weekly destination for true sports content. So without further ado, let's get into this some sports.
First up today, we got a college football.
We'll be talking each of our playoff predictions, who we think deserves to be in the playoff right now and who we think will be in the playoff next week when the selection committee makes their final picks for who's going to compete for a championship this year.
So, Spencer, who are your top four right now?
So my top four right now in order is Oklahoma, Clemson, Auburn, and Wisconsin, with Alabama and Georgia honestly on the outside.
You think those are the first two out?
Yeah, everybody looks at Alabama and thinks that they're good. They're 11-1 this year. They've had a pretty good season, but they also haven't really played anybody. They had what was supposed to be a tough game at the beginning of the season against Florida State. Florida State we saw this year is pretty bad, and then they barely beat Mississippi State. Should have beat them, and Mississippi State's like a 3-loss team. They're not that good. And then they played Auburn, and they just got ran out of the building. So they really didn't look good. So I think we're giving them too much credit just because it's Alabama, and I really don't think they should make the playoff this year. But they still have a shot. My final prediction, I think it's going to be Oklahoma 1, Auburn 2, and I think it's going to be Miami and then Ohio State, because I think Ohio State's going to beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, and I think Miami's going to beat Clemson in the ACC championship game, and that'll give them their spots.
Yeah, you got some compelling arguments. I don't agree with all of them, but it's tough. It's definitely a more shaken up, I would say, probably a good way to put it, than the past 2 years. I mean, Alabama, like you said, they got the one ranked from the beginning. They haven't played anybody. They should have lost Mississippi State, really. Not a good team. What are they, like 23rd right now? 24th. They're 24th right now.
No.
Are they not?
They're like 6th or 7th.
Mississippi State?
No, I thought you were talking about Alabama. No,
Mississippi
State's
not
like
Alabama.
Mississippi State's like barely ranked.
I think they're 24th right now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's... I was confused. I was
What
like,
are
wait
you
a second.
talking about?
Mississippi State's not that good.
Like, Alabama's not ranked. It's funny.
But yeah, so it's less predictable, I think, than it was the past few years.
Yeah.
Clemson obviously has their one loss. They played another close game earlier this year. It's tough. I don't know if I'm going to play Oklahoma 1. I don't know if I can do that. But I think Clemson stays 1. I think they're going to win their conference championship, and the committee doesn't have any other reason to make them not number 1. They'll just stay that way. They're already number 1. They'll stay that way. Number 2, now that's where it kind of gets interesting. I think Auburn has earned the right to be considered as the top 2. I mean,
they beat
Georgia
the
and
number
Alabama.
1 team back-to-back weeks.
Yes, and that's not an easy thing by any means to do at all.
Yeah.
And both teams look good. I don't even know if Auburn makes the playoffs. Really, it's gonna be a close one.
If they win the SEC championship,
if they win against
they're without
Georgia
a doubt
SEC,
in.
And
But if Georgia wins, I don't think Auburn will be in because they already have 2 losses. I would give them 3, and then you could put Georgia in. And then if Georgia wins that game, then I think if maybe Wisconsin loses to Ohio State, it comes down to Alabama or Ohio State for that 4th spot, which would be pretty tough to. The committee would have to definitely make a tough decision there.
Yeah, so number 2 right now, I don't want to put Auburn, not yet. I just don't think they're ranked number 4 right now. I don't see them just winning against Georgia, putting them. I think they're gonna need more than just the win against Georgia, put them all the way up there. So I think it's gonna be Oklahoma. I think right now, as the committee stands, right now it is Clemson and Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be Clemson and Oklahoma to begin the playoffs. Baker Mayfield's looking good still. Trash talking and all. They just, I don't know. I don't see any reason why they can't, finish after their conference championship games and spot 1 and 2. Wisconsin right now is number 3. That is somebody I don't think makes it. I think Ohio State beats them. I think they beat them pretty easy too.
Yeah,
Ohio State has a very, very good run defense. Both teams have efficient offenses.
The teams are very, very even. They match up well because Ohio State's Ohio State's strength this year is their fantastic defensive line.
Yeah, they got a great one.
But Wisconsin, they always have a great offensive line.
Yeah, and besides that, though, their offense as a whole has been really efficient. But just that defensive line for Ohio State, they just look faster and stronger than anybody. I mean, they don't really have college players up there. They have NFL players, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The kids they have starting up front, they're much more ahead. That unit as a whole is further ahead than anybody else in the league. That's what I worry about Wisconsin. They really have not played anybody. Are they really ready to face this kind of talent? Exactly.
They're not.
They're 12-0. So judging by that record, I mean, they're the best team in college football. Clemson's level 1. Oklahoma's level 1.
The best team they played was what? Michigan.
Michigan's not that good.
Michigan's terrible.
It's hard for me to say that Wisconsin wins their the Big Ten Conference Championship game in Lucas Oil this week. So
it'll show us whether Wisconsin was fake or real, whether they're actually something to take serious.
Exactly. This is like a truth moment. It's a truth telling moment. So
the key to that game, honestly, is probably I'm gonna have to say that's Wisconsin's tight end. I think his name's like Troy Fumagalli. It's kind of a long last name, but he's a great tight end. And Ohio State hasn't been able to cover tight ends all year. When they lost to Iowa, it's because their tight ends ran all across the field. When they were losing, like Penn State's tight end almost took them out. So, if they can contain that tight end on Wisconsin, then they should have a chance to win they should put themselves in a pretty good spot to win the game. But obviously there's some concerns around JT Barrett, his knee. But Dwayne Haskins has proved he's more than capable to step in and play. Urban Meyer's beat Wisconsin with a third-string quarterback before. I think he'd do it with the second string.
Urban Meyer's pretty good, I'd say.
He's all right.
Didn't win Big Ten Coach of the Year. Obviously, Wisconsin got that one, but I still think Urban Meyer's a little bit better. I don't know about you.
I mean, I would probably take Urban.
I would take Urban. But so I cannot say. I don't think Wisconsin makes it. I think they might be one of the first ones out. They're going to lose to Ohio State, in my opinion, in the Big Ten Conference Championship.
They'll probably be in I would predict that Wisconsin, they'll probably be in the Orange Bowl with whoever loses the ACC championship game, and that'll be pretty fun to watch, honestly.
Yeah. But so for my spot number 3, though, it's tough to say. So I don't think Auburn's going to beat Georgia again. It's hard to.
That'd be very hard to do.
It's hard to beat a team twice, and here's why. The way that Georgia ran offense on that game, it was a poor way of choosing it. I think they had 28 pass attempts for their quarterback, and between their 2 starting running backs, they had 20 total carries, and that's not okay.
Yeah, they're a running football team.
They're much better. It doesn't say they can't pass. They can pass, but they're a much better team about running the ball. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to see Georgia. Georgia was balling out all year. Then they took that one hit to Auburn, and I think it was just a coaching deficiency. They just did not. Mm-hmm. They didn't utilize the players that they had. They have Chubb in the backfield back there.
Chubb and who's the other guy?
Somebody.
I forget his name.
Anyway, but so they got these 2 just awesome backs back there, and between the entire game, 20 carries between 2 of them.
Yeah.
That means both of those amazing running backs, they only got the ball in their hand 10 times.
So do you think Oklahoma will beat TCU again?
I think Oklahoma beat TCU again. That's a tough one. I don't feel very confident about that pick, but I think they'll pull it off.
It'll be close.
Yes. If you look at the second half of the game, because they played once earlier this year, and the final score is 38-20. Oklahoma looked really good in that game. Obviously, the score says so, but the second half of that game, first half ended 38-14. TCU finished the game 20-38.
So they scored 6 points.
They beat him 6-0 in the second half.
Yeah, but
my question is one, how well are they going to contain that first half, Oklahoma? Mm-hmm. How well are they going to contain Baker Mayfield? We already know this dude's a stud. We know he's not.
It helps that they've seen him once before.
It helps they've seen him once before. I think it's going to be a much closer game. I don't think it's going to be the way it was, but I think the reason that game was the way that it was earlier this year for for Oklahoma was because that's the way they planned to do that. They planned to get that big early lead.
That's their strength.
Yeah, exactly. And then they planned to just hold them back. And they held them to 6 points in the second half. They didn't score any. They lost the second half, but they had won the second half or the first half so big that
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. They can lose the second half by 6 points.
I didn't watch the game, but I'm sure they didn't even play a lot of starters in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it was so I still think Oklahoma wins. I think that's going to be a much closer game.
What about Clemson, Miami?
I think Clemson wins. It's Notre Dame. And I love Notre Dame. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I know you're not. You're an Ohio State fan. Notre Dame, they're just not that good in November. And people use Notre Dame as way more than they should be used. You see them lose. You see Notre Dame lose. You think immediately, oh my God, whoever just beat them, they're amazing. They're going to do so well. Why they're sleeping? Here we go. Playoff run. They could go to the championship. Amazing. As soon as Notre Dame wins against somebody, like, oh my God, we think they're so bad. You know, it's an overreaction. They're just this team. They I don't know what it is. They just trigger overreactions from the media and from sports fans around the world. And who has Miami beat? They're Virginia Tech.
Beat Virginia Tech. That's not a big win.
No, and then they beat Notre Dame. And is Notre Dame really that big? They're one-dimensional. We knew that. And what they do? They threw the ball. That chain was getting passed around the sideline all. Yeah, the chain was getting passed around the sideline all game. Yeah, they're one-dimensional. They made him throw the ball, and guess what happened? Ed Reed was there to just help him.
They looked like Nathan Peterman out there.
It looked horrible. Bad. It looked awful. So I can't really see Miami winning that game. So I got Clemson or Miami easy. Miami will be out.
Miami's a very tough team to beat though, because they play crazy. They play fast. They play hard.
They're an athletic team, and they're a fun team to watch too.
They're tough to beat.
Don't take that away from them. They are a fun team to watch. It's not really like Miami is a big area. This is all. It's like playing an NFL team in a way, like the culture behind them. It's not like go to Alabama and you got a whole bunch of
the whole state of
you don't just have it's hard to describe. It's just you got rock, you have pop stars, you have famous people. I mean, this is Miami University we're talking about, and I don't see them winning. So my college football playoffs right now, I got 1 Clemson. They don't lose to Miami in the conference championship. I got 2 Oklahoma, close game, continue to beat TCU twice in a row this year, finish at number 2. Yeah. 3, I got to put Georgia. I think Georgia's gonna really just show Auburn what's up. I think they're gonna look back at the film from the Auburn game and realize, wow, we were idiots.
I think Auburn's too hot right now.
I think
their offense looks so good.
Their
offense is too good right now to lose.
You know what? They are hot. They look really good, but I just don't. I don't think that defense is gonna hold up with Georgia. Georgia's gonna come into this game mad. They're coming to angry. They shouldn't have lost that game. Yeah, Auburn's on a roll right now, but I just don't see. I don't see how they. I don't see how Georgia can not give the ball to their running backs more. The 20 carries.
But if Auburn can keep it close in the fourth quarter, Auburn's a much better team through the air than Georgia. So in a late game,
that's true.
If it gets late, Georgia's gonna have to throw the ball.
Clock management. You're not gonna want to run the ball. You're not trying to chew clock. You're gonna need to throw the ball.
Yeah. So
that's true. So, but for me, I got Clemson 1, Oklahoma 2, Georgia 3, and then I got Ohio State making it up to number 4. I think they're gonna murder Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin stands a chance. Yeah, sure.
It's tough to know because
it is tough.
We don't know how Wisconsin will play against a good team. We think they're fake right now.
They have no true hard evidence. Like we did this.
I would say
beat these people. They're 12-0. They're ranked 3 right now because they've played cupcakes. They have not played anybody good.
But the thing about college football is any team in the country can play a good first half against any other team. But it's the second half that's going to decide the game, obviously.
Exactly.
So if the game's 13-14 at half, it's really that's kind of irrelevant because anybody can put up a good first half. But then in the second half, if we see a team run away with the game, Ohio State has started slow all year, and they usually their defensive line wears team. It's so deep that they can wear the opposing offensive line.
They tear them apart.
When the opposing offensive line gets tired, Ohio State's defensive line is still pretty fresh, and that's when they just take over games. Mm-hmm. And so, and then that's when their running game takes over too, because the opposing defense gets a little tired. So, it should be good to see. But Wisconsin has looked good against the cupcakes that they've played. It's not saying a whole lot, but
it's I just don't see Ohio State losing that game. Like you said, they're fake. They've not played anybody significant. I don't think they're gonna win.
Who do you think is gonna win the whole thing?
That's tough. That's a tough one.
It really depends on the seeding.
I think Clemson will beat Ohio State at number 4. I think Ohio State loses in the first round to Clemson. I think
if Ohio State has lost to Clemson in 2 straight bowl games. They were humiliated last year. I would be shocked if they lost again. I know I'm an Ohio State fan, but when Ohio State loses to a team, they don't lose to teams twice. They usually don't lose to teams twice in a row. So for Urban Meyer to lose to the same team 3 straight games, I would not know what to think with that.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening at all.
I like
same with
Clemson
Oklahoma. If they play Oklahoma, I don't know if they could beat Oklahoma just because their Ohio State secondary really isn't that great this year. So if they play Oklahoma might be able to run the ball or pass the ball so well that they just can't keep up.
Yeah, and they did lose. Yeah, you're right about the secondary. They did lose a lot of their starters to the NFL
They lost
last
3.
year. They lost Malik Hooker to the Colts.
All in the first round.
Yeah, all in the first round.
Darion Conley, Malik Hooker, and
Darion Conley wasn't a first rounder, was he? I think it was a second.
Conley might have been a
rounder. Well,
because
he
first
had
or
those rape
second
allegations.
Yeah, but he denied them, and everybody knew they were fake.
He still dropped in the draft. I'm pretty
I
sure
thought he was the Chargers' first round pick.
No, he's at the Raiders now.
I meant the Raiders. That's what I said.
Yeah, no, he's at the Raiders, and he was not their first round.
Maybe he was at least their second.
He was their second round pick.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, and then they lost Marshawn Lattimore, who was balling it out. My pick for defensive rookie of the year.
If Malik Hooker doesn't get hurt, him and Marshawn Lattimore are battling out for defensive rookie of the year.
Really, he was tied for the league lead in interception before he got
3
hurt, and he got
4
clipped.
games.
He got clipped right in the knee, and he's going to be an absolute stud. Both
Hopefully.
of them, all 3 of them are going to be studs for years to come. But Marshawn Lattimore and Malik Hooker have already made their presence felt severely in the NFL.
So it's
so my picks right now: 1 Clemson, 2 Oklahoma, 3 Georgia, 4 Ohio State. I think Clemson beats Ohio State. Then Oklahoma and Georgia, that'd be a good game. I think Oklahoma wins that, and then
Oklahoma and Clemson would be a really exciting game.
That'd be a great game.
I would have to take Oklahoma in that game.
I would take Oklahoma too.
But I don't think Clemson's. I think Clemson's going to lose to Miami. Okay, so my prediction is an Auburn. I'm gonna have to go with an Auburn Oklahoma final because they're the 2 hottest teams right now. They're playing the best football out of any teams right now. So I don't think Miami could beat any of the top 4 teams that I just listed off. But I do think that they could beat Clemson, and then and I think they will beat Clemson, especially if they're coming off a loss. They're gonna play angry, and then. We're going to have to see what happens. College football can be pretty unpredictable.
It's exciting. You saw last year, man. That that championship game, was that fun?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun
cannot. I would be shocked if Alabama made it this year because
I would too.
Ratings have gone down 2 straight years when it's been an Alabama-Clemson final. The way the committee sees it, they don't see the top 4 teams as the best 4 football teams in the country like we do. They have to take ratings and conferences into account.
It's not a fan based thing.
I think Danny Cannell tweeted that it's an invitational, not a playoff, and I'd have to agree with that because they have to pick the 4 teams that they think are obviously 4 good teams, but there's usually about 5 or 6 that you could say could have made it.
Yeah.
So they have to pick the 4 best teams in their opinions, and then they have to make sure those teams will secure good ratings, right? If the whole reason the college football playoff was made is because they thought it would get better ratings and make more money than the way the BCS system worked. Mm-hmm. So if that doesn't continue to happen,
what happens after that? So, yep. So we both agree Alabama's out.
They better be.
All right. Well, there's our college football talk for the day, and moving on to some NFL. The headline of the week: Eli Manning is benching
for Geno Smith. For Geno Smith.
I'm disgusted.
How do you treat a Manning like that? Especially a Manning that won you 2 Super Bowls.
It's absurd to me. The how small Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese are. It is disgusting. How they are. They should be ashamed for what they just did. They should be. I mean, there's a rant to be had here for a whole other episode alone. About how disgusting. I am furious with this.
I used to
Ben McAdoo and his haircut. I thought was the worst thing in the world. It's
benched Eli Manning.
It is his.
I as a Colts fan, I used to feel that we had the worst coach in the league as Chuck Pagano. I still think we had one of the worst. I was like, I would kill to have any other team's coach, almost any other team's coach right now. But I actually feel bad for Giants fans that they have this man running their team, and they fired Tom Coughlin for him.
So,
what are you doing?
It's shameful. It really is. It's disgusting. These are 2 people who have gotten bailed out after. Oh, I am so angry with this. It's disgusting. Ben McAdoo, you are disgusting. You've done nothing good for that program. He's 12-13. He's 12-13. What has Eli done? He's brought them 2 Super Bowl rings, and he's started 210 games. And that streak would be continuing if it wasn't for them trying to cover up how awful they are. Jerry Reese,
I think they're just tanking.
Jerry Reese has done nothing. They had 2 good defenses. Granted, they've had some good defense over the years.
They don't win
That
either of the Super
offense
Bowls.
has been they got so lucky with that pick on Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, he's good, but we thought Laquan Treadwell was going to be good. He was a first-round pick. He didn't do anything. OBJ is, he's not even starting on the Vikings offense. Yeah. So you look at this. They picked Odell Beckham Jr. in the first round. What was it? Was it 13th overall? 16th overall?
I really don't know.
It was somewhere in the mid-first round, and they got OBJ. And that dude has been a baller in the league since day one. Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's just been a stud.
He's the greatest.
And he's been a huge Band-Aid and cover-up to the garbage that Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese are. And when the stuff that went down last year during the playoffs and the postseason with Odell Beckham Jr. losing his temper and his bad attitude and his fit throwing and trying to break up and then make up with the kicker net, it's all that. Ben McAdoo is scared. He is scared of Odell. He would not come at him or anything. He would just kind of brush it off. He would not punish them. Nothing. Odell could just act out how he wanted to. Then he took shots at Eli Manning. And Eli Manning is a man with too much class, and he is too much of a veteran to just to fire back.
Yeah.
He knows better. He is better. He is a bigger man than Ben McAdoo has been or ever will be. It's horrible. Like Mike Francesca said best, I don't know if you heard that podcast. He said Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese better take a good long look at those 2 rings that Eli got, because that is the closest they are ever going to get to one. It's horrible. I'm furious. You're laughing. I am mad. I am a huge Manning fan. I love Eli Manning.
I think Eli's going to end up in. He could end up in Jacksonville next year, and they could go to a Super Bowl.
I think we have just seen the beginning of the end of Eli Manning as a Giant.
Definitely.
He's not done though. This is not the end of his football career. I got 2 teams for him to go to.
Or Denver.
I got Denver because we already seen John Elway snipe a Manning, and it was not.
I don't think he'd want to follow. He wouldn't want to follow Wright and Peyton's footsteps, though. They've never been about that.
But
he's
Jacksonville
he didn't go to Tennessee.
Jacksonville's defense is legit. Eli has never had a run game.
Coughlin,
Leonard Fournette, that offensive line. Coughlin's still there.
Coughlin.
That defense is shredding. He's got number 1 defense in the league.
That's why he's gonna go.
And he's still got solid receivers: Marquise Lee, Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns. When Allen Robinson gets healthy again after that ACL tear or the knee injury, that team could be legit. And
the Broncos and the Jags are 2 teams that are perfectly molded to win a championship, and you just need to insert a halfway capable quarterback to just man it like an Alex Smith, like an Alex Smith quarterback who can just manage the game, not throw a lot of interceptions, and just play decent.
Exactly, and Eli can do that. He has had his years where he's just thrown the ball to the other team, but this is horrible. This is a disgrace on the Giants franchise.
Yeah.
But moving on, we are getting to a close here. I want to say thank you guys to watching and joining in for our 3rd episode. Obviously, we took last week off, Thanksgiving. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and holidays are upon us, so we'll see how the schedule works out after that.
For Christmas, I just want a new Colts head coach.
I want a new Colts head coach. I want Ben McAdoo fired and never rehired.
And I know Tennessee fans are hoping that they can find a coach, but they probably won't because it sounds like a pretty terrible job at this point.
Yeah, the Vols
they threw away Greg Schiano, who was the best coach they could have got.
Yep.
So, for no reason because he didn't do anything wrong. But they don't know that.
One more thing before we close, I want to give a big shout out. I don't know how many of you are soccer fans out there, but I personally have a stepbrother and a step-uncle, Toronto FC. 2 years in a row now.
His brother's a starting defender on Toronto.
I give a shout out to Eric Zavaleta, my stepbrother, balling out.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him on the show sometime.
Got the supporters shield. Yeah, if we can get him on the show this holiday season, that'd be cool. No guarantees.
What's their mascot?
Just Toronto FC.
Go Toronto FC.
And
cheering for you.
Greg Vanny, head coach or MLS head coach of the year. So shout out to them. Let's go get this cup.
All right, follow us on Twitter. You guys have a great rest of your day.
And thanks for watching.
And peace out, man.